Welcome to this explainer. We have a great topic today. We're going to look at human thoughts. We'll see how our beliefs actually change the physical world around us. Let's jump right in.
Here's our plan. We'll start with a big idea about money. Then we'll look at a true story from Germany. Finally, we'll see how this affects modern Europe today.
Part 1 is the theory of reflexivity. This is an idea from a famous investor named George Soros. The word sounds hard, but the idea is very easy to understand.
Think about the rain. It's a natural event. You can't stop the rain with your mind. Your thoughts don't change the weather. But stock markets are different. They're social events. If people think a stock is good, they buy it. This belief pushes the price up. So human thoughts actually change the reality of the market.
Part 2 is market boom and bust. Let's see how wrong ideas cause big problems with our money. A market bubble happens in 3 simple steps. First, a real trend starts in the world. Second, people see this trend, but they believe a false story about it. This wrong idea makes the market grow too fast. Third, the truth finally comes out. People see the real facts. Then the market crashes down.
George Soros explains it clearly. Every bubble has 2 parts. First, there's a real trend happening in reality. Second, there's a misconception. People believe a wrong idea about that trend. People act on this false story. This action breaks the market. Part 3 is the German guest worker policy. How does this idea work in real life? We can look at a true story from Germany.
Germany needed help after the Second World War. They needed to rebuild their country. In 1955, they invited workers from Italy. Later, workers came from other countries too. By 1964, 1 million workers had arrived. But an oil crisis happened in 1973. This crisis made the government stop the worker program.
Here's the wrong belief. The German government called these people guest workers. They thought these guests would work for a short time, then they would go home. But this belief was false. The workers stayed in Germany. They brought their families, they built new lives. The real world didn't match the government's belief.
Part 4 is the reality for workers. What happened because of this mistake? Let's look at the real facts.
Look at this table. It shows the risk of poverty for people over age 65. Older German people face a 12.5% risk. That's fairly low. But look at the foreign workers. Older Yugoslav workers face a 37% risk. Older Turkish workers face a huge 54.7% risk. This difference is massive.
These workers took the hardest jobs. Companies paid them low wages. The companies made big profits. They grew very strong. But the workers stayed in low-paying jobs. Now they're old. They have very little money. A wrong belief about temporary guests caused a very real problem for these people.
Part 5 is changes in modern Europe. We can see beliefs changing the world right now today. Think about daily life in Europe. Spain has the siesta. People take long rests and eat dinner late. Italy has a rich mix of different cultures living together. And for business, Europe is making new rules. They're changing how they trade with other countries.
In the past, Europe wanted cheap goods from China. This helped buyers save money. But today, this belief is changing. European countries worry about their own car companies. They think their businesses might fail. So, they're making new rules. They want to stop cheap electric cars from China. A new belief creates a real change in the world.
We've seen how a wrong idea can crash a stock market. We saw how a false belief caused poverty for older workers in Germany. And we see Europe changing real trade rules today based on new fears. So ask yourself a big question. How will the ideas in our heads today change the real world of tomorrow? Your beliefs are very powerful. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.